everybody. You got to listen over top of the crowing. Unless Bryson does this, we're going to get these ready. Matt's going to start. He's the washer because he doesn't trust me anymore because I screwed him up. We got a Tide alternative.
Yeah, this is Tide. I normally use Tide with Oxy, but this is a cold water. Got the same
cold water
stuff in it.
works the exact same. If you want anything about Tide, we know Tide.
It's got a dosing cup. I use 1 dosing cup per 5 gallons. So.
And that starts off. That's in that first tub.
Dusty. This is Stewart's. It's not much. Mule Team Borax. It's about that much. So we run the water in. We got hot and cold running water out here. And you want it just about body temperature, so 97, 98 degrees. You don't want it too hot, you'll throw them into shock. You don't want it too cold, you'll throw them into shock. I'm going to dump the soap in there.
Most important thing when you're doing this, if you're using bluing, folks, put it in and make sure it's stirred up before that first bird enters.
Mix that board team up and the bluing and the Tide. Normally we can whoosh about 10 birds in a mixture. Large fowl, 2 or 3. Because the Tide does something to the large fowl that just amazes me. It just strips that dirt out of them, especially the big black cochins. It will strip it out and the water will look like mud shortly after. This is our old go-to. It's Green Goo Poultry Respiratory Care. I used to get it on Chewy, but it's getting kind of hard to find. But if you Google it, you'll find some other vendors for it, I believe. But I like this because I put it on Wednesday or Thursday. We don't have to touch the birds the rest of the weekend. Their combs look good.
Yep.
It doesn't make them look greasy. It makes them look more natural. Nail clippers, so always something people need to do. Trim your beaks and trim your nails before you wash them. But that's it.
While he's getting that ready, I'm going to show you the cages on here. Using the cages we use. Let me move this. So these cages are from Foy's. They're pigeon breeding cages. Down at the bottom, there's a pair of doves. On this one, in fact, there's 2 pairs. So what these do is they're about 20 by 20, roughly, 18 inches tall. In between there, you'll see 3 doors. Well, there's a door and a door. They're spring-loaded. And in between those is another door. The food and water is shared between them. They're far enough apart they can get their heads in. They eat, they drink, but they can't fight. As we see, the manure falls down through with the size of that on them, especially with cochins. The poop goes right through, so that's less you got to clean up. On the other side, you can see we have another set of cages. They're actually 2 whole Bantam cages. And Matt built a rack for them. And sometimes we have to use them too. On them is the broiler flooring that we've talked about a lot on different things. And it's basically the same idea, except there you will get more poop on the birds there, but you know, nothing you can't wipe off. Kind of important, I think, is when you wash these birds the first time, or as you're washing, you don't go and feeding them, watering them right away. Give them some time, let them dry off, because if they're not dry, so according to what you're feeding, well, all of a sudden, you've got dirt on them from what they're eating. So, Matt's got some vinegar.
Plain old Members Mark distilled white vinegar. I think it amounts to about a quart per 5 gallons here. So, I have this little thing here. I'll fill it up twice. Maybe 3 times. That gives us about a quart of vinegar to 5 gallons of water. That'll help cut the suds a little bit. I don't know that it's really needed with the HE, but it makes me feel better.
We've always done it that way, so, you know.
This is our glycerin. I think we put a link to it on Amazon and somewhere else on the M&M Facebook page, but it's cheaper to buy it that way. It's about $25 a gallon, and a gallon, I'll show you how much I use here in a minute, but a gallon lasts us almost a whole season. So we buy 1 gallon in the fall, one gallon in the spring. We usually do the white birds first and then the color birds last. They don't take as long, so we do the white birds for 5.5 minutes in the soak. And the reason why we do that is same way you do your laundry. You got to let the chemicals work. So you don't just dip them in the soap and think that's doing anything. I kind of use these soft vegetable brushes to scrub them a little bit with. Until I've been doing it a lot of years. I got 3 different ones here. Toothbrush for their legs and beak and face. That's an egg brush I use sometimes if it gets real bad.
Tell me where the timer is.
Oh, timer's up here. I need to clean it off a little bit. It's just, we used those when I worked in the lab. And I found them online. We have it one set for 5 minutes and one side set for 2.5. So it's
White birds 5 minutes. Any other color bird 2.5. That's it. And then you start to wash.
We'll do the glycerin here.
Yep.
So same thing with dosing cup. 1 dosing cup full of glycerin. Make sure that gets really good and dissolved.
In warm water.
So I like to do it while the water's running in. It just helps put the luster back in their feathers after you get them into the rinse. You'll really, although it does work very well on white birds, you'll really notice some of your black and party colored birds, partridge, it really shines them up.
There's many times showing party colored birds we don't actually wash them. We'll just dip them.
Yeah, sometimes they're not real dirty. We'll just dip them in the glycerin water and let them dry out naturally and clean their feet and beaks, and especially Wyandottes. Wyandottes and Rhode Island Reds tend to be worse after you wash them than before you started. So you have to do them almost a week ahead of time to let them get their preening back in. Coaching's a little different. We don't have to do them quite as early. So we've got some that are really dirty. We'll pre-treat them. Cowboy Magic Green Spot Remover. So if they've got some spots on them we think they need a little extra oomph, we'll spray that on them probably 15 or 20 minutes before we wash them. And it'll sometimes help with those bad spots.
Sometimes.
Sometimes it don't. I think I had some of that down here too. Had the Cowboy Magic yellow out shampoo. Doesn't work. Alright. We're getting the beaks trimmed up, the toenails trimmed up, and we're going to soak the first one in there.
Yellow feet, yellow legs, white coaching. Not white feet, not white legs. You can get away with it on a female and say she's laying. He's never laid an egg. Alright, be very careful doing this, especially first time after a while with your old birds because they're too damn fat usually. Unlike Matt and I.
And down he goes. I want him clear into his head. I'll be using my little cups to get him up around his head. Then I'll take a little soap and water and with my finger get his comb cleaned up pretty good. Lobes. Check the ear holes and make sure he don't have any yellow crap in it. The good thing about it, you can see it shows all the black feathers, and they look kind of yellow right now, but you'll see after being in the tide and drying, it'll get that out of them. But they got to soak in that water. That's what cleans them.
And the thing is on these folks, when you get them out of there, a lot of times your white birds, you'll think they're yellower. Don't worry about it. Let them dry. Alright, I'm going to back you back up now.
Good day now is we can put them outside in the sun and let them dry instead of having them in here under the heat. Sometimes I'll use the brush while they're soaking just to kind of, especially around the butt and feet. kind of knock off the heavy stuff and then soak him some more.
These are 2 white coaching cockbirds we'll have here. Then we'll have some Chanticleers. We'll bring you back in for them. We're going to go through the whole process with this bird, and then we'll do some more stuff later.
One thing you can do while you got them in here and they're wet, you can examine the body. That's how I always tell how good the bird's body is. He carries his whip all the way back. So I kind of put him up on the side here while I get on his feet, because we'll get that crap up around their foot feathering. And I'm pretty picky about that, getting it out. Because once they get on these wire holding pens over here to dry, they won't re-soil their feet. I kind of run that brush up in their butt real good, gets everything loose, and then go with the lay of the feathers. We'll pick the black feathers out later. All right, it goes rinse 5 times in the vinegar water. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I kind of squeegee that out with my hands. Same thing in the glycerin. 1, 2, 3, 4. Try to get as much water out of them as possible, and you can, when you do that, you can feel the difference in their feathers on the vinegar. They're like squeaky clean, and then when you dip them in the glycerin, it goes the other way. You can feel the oil getting back in the feather, so they're not as squeaky as what they were when we stuck them in the vinegar water. All right, got him pretty well flapped out, so we wrap him up like a tourniquet. Got my helper down there, Francine. That's it. He'll sit there till we get 3 or 4 done. Then Mike will put them outside in the drying pens once they rest a little bit there. That's number 1. All right, we got Mike just trimmed her beak and toenails, and this is a white Chanticleer pullet. She just come out of a grow-out pen. We're going to see how she comes out. She's got a little dirt on her a little bit, but she's pretty good feathered. So. Same deal, 5 minutes.
The time is still important. Doesn't matter what it is. White's white. Yep. But the amount of work you have to do is a different story.
Yep. Still got to soak them for the. We found the 5-minute mark just works. So you can't save one that's stained too bad. So none of these are real dirty. That helps.
Here's unwound. All right, we got the whites done. We've washed six whites, Maddie?
Yep.
6 whites. I'm going to pick this up and walk you over here. Now we're going to wash the blacks now. And here's what the water looks like. That's not too bad.
Yeah, it's not ready to change yet. It's not muddy.
Not muddy, so we're going to go ahead and wash these blacks. I believe we'll get all of them in this same water.
Alright, we're on the easy ones now. These are blacks. So 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Again, that's to give the soap time to work. It doesn't need as much time as a white.
That noise you're hearing it's hot. We turned the exhaust fan on, so bear with us.
Alright, so he's done washing the soap.
Listen, these brushes are indispensable too.
Peel the legs, clear up the shank. Once again, I got him by index finger and thumb so his head stays out of the water. If you don't do that, and let them flop, you're going to have dead chicken.
And that's not a good thing.
Nope, that's one less to wash.
And it's generally your best one. Remember that.
I'll set him on here. It stresses them a little bit to wash them, so you got to be careful, especially coaching. 4-inch silkies, they all are a little fussier than rocks or Wyandottes or reds.
Although we have had rocks and Wyandottes that said good night, Irene.
This is a cockerel never been shown.
No,
this year's bird.
he's probably the least ready. But I wanted to show you. Can you see the color? It's not the most important thing, but hey, it's a thing.
And you'll see when you go outside how fast the blacks dry compared to the whites in the sun. The sun's rays just suck right up into them and they dry them out quick. He's going in.
Always handle them with care.
Find about blacks, as opposed to whites or dark colored birds, they tend to dust themselves more, so they root down in the dust and dirt outside when they're running around, and they're a little dirtier than what whites are when we wash them because of that. The whites, I think, because they have a lighter colored feather, don't do that dusting like the blacks, and even buffs will get filthy. The good thing I noticed when they got him wet, I can feel all the pin feathers on this bird. He's a month away, about Greenville. His hackle's all pin feathers. Some of that will come out in the wash and some all at once. Definitely will be ready for Columbus.
That's the plan.
Yeah, he's done. Take the brush to it. Gonna work that hackle a little bit to get some of those pin feathers covered off. I ain't gonna, if you can see, I ain't gonna get them all. That brush helps get the stuff out of their rear end, and then I'll use it on his feet.
All right, well, we're on the last one of the washers, and Matt's got it. I wanted to show you something else that I kind of like. I have built, maybe again will build, wooden carrying crates. People like them. A lot of people sell them. Ours were custom made. And they went for pretty good money, but they were a pain in the butt. And I still have a lot of them at home we use. But I went to these totes. These totes got big holes in them. These are 12-gallon totes. These are great for bantam. You can partition these off with one piece of wood, like 3/4 inch plywood. Put a screw on each side or two, going right from the plastic into the wood. You can keep 2 females in there. We show a lot of males, so they're all open. Put the top on, click that baby shut. You can even zip time if you need to. And they're basically waterproof. We've had no trouble with the heat in them. A lot of air holes. Those were smaller. These I did different. It's all according to how you do it. And you can find these on sale most places. Menards, Depot, Lowe's, and other places. These are 2 different types, but they're the same thing. And I'm telling you, we love them. I can stack them and they stay stacked in the back of a truck. They're all the same size. You know exactly what fits in there. And I've got a small truck, so it really helps. And these will go under a topper. Matt's got a topper in his. And they also have huge ones that we use for the large fowl sometimes. I think of the 22-gallon ones. Again, airflow, gotta have airflow. You gotta have the holes where they can actually get up and get some air going through them. But they work real well. When you're done with them, at the end of the show season, take the tops off, stack the tops, dump the shavings out, and you can stack a boatload of these in a small area, and then they're easy. Take them out, spray them off, hose them off, wipe them off, put them back in. Important thing is, you've washed your white chickens, any chickens, and everything. You might want to make sure your box is clean because you're going to put them right back in there and they're dusty and dirty, that they are going to rub. They will rub and you'll get everything off except a patch on the wing bow or something like that, and then of course you're screwed. All right, now
I'll show you how to dip a partridge.
and we're gonna dip one here. So this is a partridge Chanticleer. These are made by Mr. Lehman.
They're just a little rough and feather yet. They're still young, but we're got a couple innards. Hank, Francine. We're just going to dip it in the glycerin water real quick and then stick him right back in his pen. So I didn't get him saturated. You can see the water's beating up on him a little bit, but just enough to get the dust off of him, and he'll preen himself and get his feathers back in. You can see he's still coming in. And this is actually an anomaly. So Chanticleers throw all kinds of combs, so that is a pea-combed partridge Chanticleer.
Right. That one we're not showing, but we're just going to show you how to dip a bird.
Yep. We'll stick him back up in there.
All right, now we have washed 6 and 5, right?
Yeah, 4
So
Chanticleers.
there's 11 birds, and you can still see that water has got some green to it and some blue to it. So those birds weren't actually that dirty. Make sure you put a strainer in that baby.
Yep, make your plumber happy.
Or make you happy, you don't have to pay the damn plumber, okay?
There you go.
So, and in the bottom of this is the rinse pen. As you can see, there's always some stuff left over on them. That's why you dunk them, dunk them, dunk them.
The water was fairly clean, even though we rinsed 10, 12 birds in it.
And there's the glycerin. All right, so we're out here and it's really bright sunshine. So we'll see what we can see here. I'm going to walk over here to the shade. So I'm not sure how long we've been doing this today, Matt.
Probably about an hour and a half.
About an hour and a half. This is the first bird that we washed, and hopefully you can see drying. Their hackles, their tails. Chanticleer, first Chanticleer we washed, females. This is the last white we washed. He was the one that was panting a little bit after the trip, so when he got trimmed, he went back into a wire pen and just sat there until we got other things done. Folks, if you're in a rush, you're not going to do a good job. You might as well not even take them. That's just, you get in, like we've said 1,000 times, you get into it, out of it what you put in it. Starting to preen, there's the blacks, another Chanticleer, females.
These blacks will be dry.
Yeah, these blacks will be dry. Okay, so when we say that the cochins are dry, it doesn't mean they're all the way dry. They're a very heavy feathered bird. So it would take a day or so, naturally, for the fluff down under the wings, all those things to really dry. Make sure your birds are dry.
That's why we're doing it on Tuesday.
Yep, we do it on Tuesday. Matt will fluff these up maybe tomorrow night, more than like it on Thursday. He'll put the combs, he'll dress the combs.
They'll go on another thing I learned a long time ago, and I've told some people and how to keep them from crapping on themselves. Take them off of their pellets or crumbles and put them on a whole grain and they'll be on that until after the show, probably till after Greenville. That way their stools are firm and it doesn't smear all over their feathers, don't stick to them. Learned that from my old buddy Tommy Stanley. He was the king of hauling white birds in chicken crates and never getting them messed up. So,
well, that's what John Miles basically does too. I mean, so
everybody that shows many whites does that, or otherwise you're wishing birds at the show, and that's never a good thing.
No. And I don't know if you're going to be able to see it on this one, but
that yellow one away.
that yellow's gone. This might be the one that I did.
Yeah, that's the cockerel.
As you can see, as he dries, the yellow leaves.
And that's their chemicals in your soap and your board team and stuff working on the bird. The bluing.
Yep.
The blue takes the yellow and makes it white or silver.
So they're out here, they'll wander around. you got to watch them. You know, we're not going to let them overheat. They'll be out here for a little bit, and they get to where we think they get a little bit of that out of them.
They're probably 3/4 dry. I'll put them inside, then they'll get fed and watered and
Yep.
finish overnight. By Wednesday morning or Wednesday afternoon, Thursday morning when I go out here to touch them up, I put that green goo on their combs on Thursday, and then we don't have to touch the birds until after the show. We want them to look natural and not oily. That's the bad thing about some of that Veterex and other things is.
All right, well, I hope you enjoyed this. We'll see how much editing Bryson has to do, but we'll see you at the shows. Remember, like, subscribe, share, and they always say turn notifications on. Well, I'm going to say that. I don't do that because that's way too much shit coming every time someone posts something. I'll catch up with it later. So, but if you really want to be notified, hit that bell. All right, folks, thanks a lot. And podcast coming out this evening. Of course, this is too late, but that's okay. Bye.